Okay, we are using a mod build, a shield mod build, and you might be thinking, Pseudo, like, you've done one of these like 3 times now, why are you doing another one? Well, it's because we got a new ring with a DLC that just makes it so much better, way more accessible, just easier, more efficient, just better. And that would be the shield alternator. Activating a mod that costs more than 100 mod power or greater. Generates a shield for 23% of your maximum health, lasts for 20 seconds, can't stack with itself. The numbers there as far as like the shield amount and duration is because of, different traits that I have. It makes everything that we want to do with the setup way better. So we're using the kinetic shield exchanger. It's an amulet that's going to increase your mod damage, mod power generation, whenever you have a shield active. So now, just by casting a mod, we can actually do a better job with the whole setup, right? Every time we cast it, immediately we've got ourselves we've got ourselves shields, we got ourselves increased mod damage, increased mod generation, etc. It just works out more. So, if you are interested in shields and you like mods, that's the combo you want. And from there, you're pretty flexible as far as like, what mod do you want to use? What other rings do you want to mix in there? Like, I put a lot of like extra passive mod power generation. That is probably just kind of overkill at this point. I could probably kind of tweak things around and just be okay, if not better off, by doing more damage or something. But I've got a lot of passive regen going on thanks to the prime perk of the Archon. So we got passive mod power generation. I've got the Cataloger's Jewel, passive mod power generation. I've also got points into the Insight trait, which is passive mod power generation. And so all those things stacked up, along with 30% more mod power generation, thanks to having a shield and the kinetic shield exchanger, means I'm constantly able to just have that thing, ready to go in between fights, in between rooms, in the middle of fights when I'm not actively shooting things and generating mod power. It's charging itself up, so I can just constantly use the Aphelion and blast guys away. It's very satisfying, and I do really like the Aphelion. I do have it with Amplitude. It makes it a room clearing monster, so even when I don't get anybody with it, because I have feedback in it, and feedback's going to give back a portion of mod power based on the damage that it deals. So even when I don't hit anything, because I'm generating so much just kind of mod power, I'm able to clear rooms every single time I come into a hallway and stuff. Very fun. But, sometimes this mod is not the choice to do. Like when I'm fighting the Red Prince, guess what? Having a ball that's going to explode in my face because the boss is in my face is not good, because it's going to knock me down flat on my ass and then he's going to tear into me. So the good thing is with this build, you're able to just, oh god, the game did not like that, or computer. But the good thing is, because this is kind of a general mod thing, you just use whatever mods you want to use, whatever mods you've got, whatever's going to work for you. So depending on the situation, I'll just swap it out for another one. I'll pull out some friggin' Helix rockets, yada, yada, yada. I am also using the Void Light. Void Light's really fun, and I can set it up, shoot this, it's going to clear anything while also doing damage to that thing. And see how it's like charging up? So it takes damage, oh, and look, and then it seeks out guys. So the Void Light, what it does is it blocks blocks not just enemies, but attacks. It absorbs damage from all sources, enemies, friendly, whatever, right? And you can use it to block projectiles and things from enemies, but it'll block that damage and then absorb it. And after like 10 seconds, or it's just 10 seconds, or when it reaches a threshold, launches a projectile that releases Void Light, which remains dormant for 10 seconds. While active, absorbs other damage sources. After expiration, it explodes and fires up to 5 projectiles, which home in on enemies within 22.5 meters. I have Amplitude, it's a bigger range. That projectile deals a bunch of mod damage, split among enemies hit, dealing an additional amount of damage per 100 damage absorbed, max of 5 times. So it doesn't have a max damage threshold. Well, it has a max damage threshold, but I don't know that you can just trigger early. Maybe you can. I can't remember. But at any rate, it works out pretty nicely with Aphelion, because Aphelion has such a big radius. I can lob that thing out there, launch this out there, start hitting things, charge it up, right? Because like we're doing a bunch of base damage, and then it goes out and it seeks out things. So even if I like clear a room, or I don't quite clear it, it seeks out things for me, which is really fun. You can also preemptively end it by casting a second Void Light. So if I wait a second, and then let it like charge up, which, like I said, you can see how quickly we are charging up our mod power just passively. Then I lob it out there. It automatically triggers it, sends out, hit a dude for 2,000 damage. One shot, he's gone. It is a little bit of a process if I'm trying to use that whole combo to clear room, because I could just use Aphelion to just lob it out there, boom, get rid of anything that's there, rather than that whole full thing. But let's fight. Let's fight Dullain, Magister Dullain. It should be fine. This one, because they're not like in your face, I should be fine using Aphelion, and it's going to do some decent chunks of damage, and overall be okay. Also, we are the Warden as our secondary archetype because I want the shields and stuff. If you're really using a lot of like explosives and you want to really enhance your explosive damage, then you could totally just put on the Summoner, and that's going to do a lot more bonus explosive damage for you, right? Now you have to be kind of careful too, right? Because we have ourselves the drone. The drone, while I love that thing, is really annoying because there's so many times it'll get right in my face and then accidentally like detonate my mod ability, you know, the Aphelion Black Hole Supernova, and that is incredibly obnoxious. We can just send that out there. Let's just reload. Cool thing is too, when you use a mod on the Aphelion, it's going to automatically load one shot into it, so that you can go ahead and just use the mod and trigger it. We just kind of move though. I would like to have triggered that, but I was a little afraid of getting caught by something. Running around. Oop. Goodbye. Now, another nice thing, because having a shield gives us that extra mod power generation, your standard attacks are actually going to generate a good amount of mod power, because you're generating more mod power, and so that's pretty nice. Actually meant to use Void Light first. Whoop. No thank you. There you go. Oops, see, there's the drone doing its thing. And that could be death here because of what Dullain's moveset's like, and having projectiles and crap with the flying bodies. Those things can do a lot of damage if you're not careful. So you gotta really be aware of that. I wonder if that could hit our thing. There it is. It's overall a pretty safe setup. Shields are really strong, provide a lot of just safety, you know, bonus health, and depending on your setup can technically give you like more damage reduction, I guess. It's, you know, it's just more effective HP, just keeping you alive. And especially with us being able to cast our mods so often that even if we take damage, we're able to quickly kind of recoup some of that health via a shield. And with these extra traits and stuff, you know, the shield's pretty good. They also last for a long time. Using the Warden as our secondary, we got the shield drone. So like if you save it, because the shield, the stupid drone will just start casting shields on you whether you're in combat or not, and eat up all its energy. But if you save it for right before a fight, you can just have a ton of extra constant health going on, and then, or yeah, it's essentially extra health, right? And then I use the generating band, so then I've got a ton of just constant health regeneration. And because I really like the Warden Void Heart combo, you know, I use a Void Heart, so then I like a spike of healing if I really need it. Plus, it charges up our mods, all of those kinds of things. Like it's pretty fun. I do really like it. Okay, let's fight the old Nightweaver. I switched out the mods. We're gonna try some different things here. I could probably do it with the Aphelion, but we're gonna try Alpha Omega because I haven't used that one in a while, and I thought that could be kind of fun, right? Maybe if enough feedback and kind of mod power stuff going on. Yeah, see, we can kind of, owie, constantly. Oh, I'm gonna mess everything up. No big deal. Don't worry about it. We're okay. Boom. Lightning ball. Let's go ahead and get our drone active too, because I'm, you know, making mistakes. We're not gonna worry about it though. Boom. Okay. Look at that, just constant, look at that, that's kind of satisfying. We're gonna lightning orb it though. Oh shit, okay. Luckily we had the effect of the Warden to keep us alive. I'm a really bad shot apparently, she keeps moving, so I'm gonna blame her. Boom. Just gonna use this now I guess. Boom. 1, 2, 3. There we go. 1. Pow. I'm dead. I'm alive. Holy cow. Hooray for us. Let me get out of that corner, though. I don't like it. Lightning ball. 1, 2. Pow. That's some good damage. If I can actually line it up okay, then I'll be okay. Oh my god. Go down, please. Okay. Outside of me, making a lot of bad mistakes like missing and getting hit by things. It's reasonable. Reasonable. This part, Lightning Orb is going to be pretty baller because we can just bounce it. Whoop. She's to the right or up? Where is she? Up higher, huh? Hey, I don't like that. Can't see. Bad thing with the Lightning Orb. Vision. Too much clutter. Oh, you're gonna come get some? Yeah. Oh, that worked pretty well. That was pretty satisfying, actually. I liked how quickly it charged up with everything. Yeah, more explosive damage. That sounds great. Here's the setup. Primary is our Archon. Does all the mod things that we want. I'm currently using Reality Room because I like the defense and safety it provides as well as extra mod power generation. But depending on how you feel, maybe Chaos Gate would be really nice. It's up to you, right? I do have on the Warden as our secondary because it's got a lot of great safety stuff, right? With all the shields. Yeah, lots of shields. Lots of shield stuff. But if you don't want that and you want to do like a lot more explosive stuff, you could easily swap it for the Summoner so you get more of that oomph. And then maybe you could trade around some of your traits and get like some points into barrier so that your shield amounts are greater. But it's up to you. It depends on how you feel about it, right? Now, we mentioned it. The amulet is, of course, a kinetic shield exchanger because that's where we're getting a lot of that mod power generation with having a shield. Then, of course, the star of the show, Shield Alternator, so that we can easily get mods or get shields by using our mods. Then we've got the Shard Banded Ring. This is my choice for just damage because I've been swapping things around a lot. Sometimes the mods I'm using are not always explosive damage or elemental damage or anything like that. So just generic mod damage was good for me. But if you're a little more specialized, maybe you take the Blasting Cap. Maybe you just do Burden of the Destroyer. Maybe use some other kind of damage ring, right? And then I did go Cataloger's Jewel just to automatically generate some more mod power. I really liked having the passive mod generation. I felt like it really rounded out my mod generation quite a bit. But if you feel like you don't really need it or want it, you could swap it for a Spirit Stone. If you don't have this one, my Spirit Stone will just give you more mod power generation. Or maybe at that point, you just lean into more damage. Maybe some other kind of utility that you feel you need to make yourself really pop off. And then I personally really like the generating band so that I've got that health regeneration. If you end up taking the Summoner as your secondary archetype, you're going to have points into regrowth, which means this isn't quite as big of a deal to have. So you could, again, trade it out for, a more mod power generation, more utility, more damage, safety, something, right? You've already seen me swapping around the mods. It kind of doesn't matter what mod you're using as long as it's works for you, what you have, and the situation that you're in. Obviously, choose what you got, right? Kind of the same thing with the traits. Again, I was doing everything here on Apocalypse, so I had max Vigor, I've got max Fortify, right? Now, because I am doing a lot of mods, and a lot of mods can do a lot of friendly fire damage, I do have Kinship maxed out, especially because I have Amplitude maxed out. So because I have that kind of combination, I needed Kinship. I was blowing myself up too much with the Aphelion, especially with the drone getting in the way all the time. It's almost a must, I would say. Yeah. Of course, Spirit's going to be maxed out. I did max out Insight for that mod power generation. And then I also have another shield one, Preservation, to increase the shield duration. It's not super dire to have that one because we end up using our mods so often that we kind of don't need the extra duration, but in between the fights, having a shield just kind of stick around is sort of nice. So that one's kind of on the lesser end of necessary. You could probably trade it out for, depending on what you're doing, maybe Chakra to increase a mod duration. That could be kind of nice. Or maybe something else. Siphoner? And more health? Triage? I don't know. Like, at that point, like, nothing else feels like I really need it. You know what I mean? So you've got some flexibility there. Oh, also, I've got the nanoplated transmitter because I liked the dish helmet. I felt like it mixed pretty well with an idea of mods. And then technician armor because I have a few points into strong back so that we got a medium roll. Yada, yada, yada. Fragments, I was running health. Like always, mod damage because obviously an extra mod power generation. My prism is just a mess. So don't worry about this one. It does have some nice shield things, but overall, it's a mess because I didn't know what the heck I was doing when I started building this one, and this is what it is now. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed it. Appreciate you guys checking it out. Shield mods, much better now. Give it a go for yourself if you can get that, whatever the ring is, shield alternator. I can never remember the name. If you can get that, you're going to have a much better time. You could, like, and my other ones, I've used other rings to make the setup work. It just depends on, you know, what you've got. I will mention this. The shield alternator, for some reason, does not work with the Twisted Arbalist. That was one of my first thoughts because I was using the Twisted Arbalist with a shield build before because it has a single shot, which means I can use a tightly wound coil. Tightly wound coil gives you a shield every time you spend 75% of your weapon's magazine. So every time I shot the Twisted Arbalist, it was charged, you know, it gave me a shield, which meant it did more damage and generated more mod power. Now, for some reason, I'll test it again here, but whenever you activate the mod, and it does cost 675 mod power, using it did not generate a shield with that ring. So let's go find a guy real quick, give it a go. Okay, now we activate it. No shield. Why is that the case? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. I kind of like I thought that it had something to do with like my choice of mutators, like something was interfering in there, but that's not the case. So that's really annoying. You could run Insulator with it if you really want to use the Twisted Arbalist with it. You could use the Insulator so that like just by firing it, you're going to get a big shield right away, which means you're generating more mod power, and then that subsequent mod activation is going to do more damage. Or at that point you trade out the shield alternator because it's useless and put on the tightly wound coil, which is going to give you a shield every time you activate it. And I mean, honestly, you do a combo between the two and that's going to give you a huge amount of shields every time you fire the weapon, right? 17% of your health right there, plus another like 25% probably there. That's over a third of your health. Yeah, look at it. In one single shot, look how much shield you can get there. If you weren't looking to do a mod thing with it, you could probably do some pretty fun, like just generic range damage shield builds using the Arbalist, Crossbow, Widowmaker, another whatever single shot weapon, and get yourself some pretty wicked just single shot shields and bonuses from there. But I'm going to go ahead and stop rambling now and let you guys go back to your lives. And hope to see you again. Appreciate you checking it out. Again, all that. Take care. Yada, yada, yada. Goodbye.